Okay, so we're going to install the clutch plates now. We know that the splines are good on the basket and on the inner because they're both new. What you want to watch for is any indentations on the splines, because that's where the splines of the clutch plates would have bashed in, or the teeth rather would have bashed into the splines, and what that does is it creates indentations, which means that then the clutch won't release, because when you pull the clutch out, then these can't slide along the splines because they're hitting the indentations. They're like in a rut, almost literally. So that's what you're looking for. But obviously, in our case, we know they're fine. The plates are completely dry in our case because we've got the belt drive conversion. So the back plain plate first. And then we're just using the original plates, which I just cleaned to get rid of the oil. So I don't actually want oil on them. And it doesn't really matter in this case which clutch plates we use, because it's running dry. It shouldn't slip, regardless of the type of plate we're using. Okay, and I'm just going to keep putting. I have cleaned these, but I'm doing them again, and just keep building the clutch up. So now it's a friction plate followed by a plain plate, and so on. I think later clutches, I think like this one, are 5 plates, and I think there's 3 plates on the 3 friction plates on the earlier clutches. I'm not sure if you can convert them. I don't know. Probably, but I don't know. As I say, I normally use Surflex clutch plates on a normal oil clutch, but apparently they're not obtainable at the moment. So I don't know. I don't know what. I think you need to have a chat with the suppliers if you're getting new clutch plates, and about what's available and what they recommend. Yeah. Okay, and then we put all the clutch plates in, and then the last plate is like the pressure plate or the outer plate, which is different to all the others, and that goes on there. Now we can lighten the clutch by, or adjust the clutch strength tension by using thicker or thinner plates. Generally, if you want to make the clutch lighter, you use thicker plates, which moves the clutch further out, because you've got the diaphragm spring, and basically when it's flat, it's not as powerful. So if you move the plates out, it flattens that diaphragm spring, and it can't. If the spring's like half already flexed, it's very powerful. So you'd think, like, if you used less plates and the spring make the spring looser, but it's counterintuitive. You actually use more plates and flatten the spring, so it's not as powerful. Now, I haven't changed them on this, and as we can see, this outer plate, I don't know how well you can see this, but it's nearly right up to the edge of the splines. So, I don't, it's about a millimetre, a couple of millimetres. I mean, we could adjust it, obviously. There's only so much you can do, but basically, without going too far, it's a suck it and see, really. The advantage is, because we're dry, that if we find out the clutch is too power, we want to lighten the clutch, then we just have to take the cover off, which is one screw. Clutch is there, we've got no oil, and we can adjust. And if we've got the special tool, which you have to have, which we'll see in a minute, then it's relatively straightforward. Just take the cover off, adjust the clutch, put it back on, and carry on from there. You know, it's not going to be a massive job because we literally just one screw to take the cover off and we're straight at the clutch. So I think that should be okay as it is, but if it's not a massive job to change it. Okay. Where are we now? So next job is to put the clutch push rod in. Okay, yeah, clutch push rod, and that simply pushes down the main shaft of the gearbox, goes right through the other side to the actuating mechanism on the other end of the gearbox. And don't forget that on that end of the gearbox, there is a ball bearing, so that enables this to turn. So that when we got the clutch pulled in, this will remain stationary. No, sorry, that's moving, but the gearbox is stationary. Yeah, get that right. Okay, then the last part of the clutch is, of course, the diaphragm spring itself. That's a certain massive circuit that holds it in, and this is the special tool which is essential for fitting the diaphragm spring. Now, if you look at the diaphragm spring, it is, of course, dished. When we put the adjuster on, it needs to be so tight that you'll actually find that the dishing is actually the other way. We're going to put this on, we're going to screw it up, and it's going to hold the sort of outside down while pulling the center up. And by the time we finish putting that on, this will be flat, and if not actually slightly dished the other way. That's how much tension we're going to be putting on it. So I'm going to screw that on there, and next time we look at this plate, you should see a completely different angle on the plate, a different curve. Okay, so we've screwed the adjuster in to the central part of the spring, where the adjuster, the special tool where the adjuster for the clutch used to be. Take that out, screw the tool in, and then I've tightened it up by tightening this nut up. And if you now look at the angle of that spring, we're now actually reversed. It's now actually slightly concave rather than being massively convex. And I think that should be about right. I'm going to put this on now. If I have trouble getting the circlip on over the back of it, then it probably that I need to do up the adjuster even more. You want it slightly convex. It might be even more convex than that in order to try and get it on. If the circlip won't go on, then I'll tighten the adjuster even more. Right, in a minute we're going to put the last plate back on, which I've just taken off for now because it keeps falling off. Followed by the diaphragm spring, and then the diaphragm spring is held in place by this giant circlip. Okay, now the circlip, it's a bit like a slinky spring, you know, so it's like that. So the sort of method of putting it in is to like separate the coils and put the first sort of coil in and then wind it round. That's the theory anyway. So I'll get the like outer plate on. Thank you. And I'll put the pressure plate on, the diaphragm spring. Try and use the right words occasionally, doesn't always work. Yeah. Okay, and then open out that first coil and get that in the groove. Now there's a groove that this obviously fits in the basket case. So we try and get the first coil in the groove, like wind it round. Then we come to the second coil, which can be a bit more difficult because now we've suddenly got double thickness of spring trying to go in the groove. They don't want to go in. It will go in. It will go in. There you go. There. Whew, right, and there we have the diaphragm spring now successfully in place. I've removed the tool, the compressor tool, and there it's held in with that circlip around the edge. Whew. Yeah, it was a harder job than I thought, and I think the reason being is that this being a new clutch basket, as I say, I think the groove for the spring is probably not, just slightly, not quite as deep. If you look, you can see a shiny line around the spring, and I think, and that's where that's how deep the old spring used to go. And because it's not quite as deep, that means the whole circlip is tighter. You know, it has to be smaller, and so it was, more difficult to put in. But I think we're fine now. So then all I've got to do is put the adjuster in, adjust the tension of the belt, and then we're ready to put the casing on. Okay, and I've fitted the adjuster nut on the end of the clutch and tightened it up, just so there's some play on the actual clutch on the sort of lever on this side. Okay, just want a decent bit of play without there being too much, because otherwise the clutch won't disengage if you have too much free play. But if you don't have enough, then as the engine warms, it will start binding on the clutch, and you could end up with clutch slip. Right, okay. So I've just got to adjust the tension of the belt, and then we can put the outer casing on at last. Hurrah.